May, are you there? I want to know just what the heck you think you're doing, huh? I mean, really, what is the matter with you? How could you do this to your own sister? How could you sleep with your own sister's husband? What in the world drove you to do that?
I was wondering when you were finally going to come to try and scold me like the old hag you are. But you can cry all you want. To me, it just sounds like the sobs of a sore loser.
A sore loser? You can't be serious, right? How dare you call me that? You realize you're in the wrong here, don't you?
Says you. Things seem to be going pretty well from where I'm standing. After all, Brian works for such a huge company and earns so much. Not to mention he's incredibly handsome. He was way too good for a fat, ugly nobody like you. Clearly, Brian deserves to be with someone more on his level. Someone like me. I guess you could say that him and I were destined to be together.
What are you talking about? Are you seriously trying to tell me that your soulmate was my husband?
Actually, that reminds me. Are you just reaching out to me because you finally got the divorce papers from Brian? Or because you heard that we were going to the courthouse to register ourselves as husband and wife?
It was the divorce papers, if you must know, and when I couldn't get a hold of Brian, I knew that I had to call you to get to the bottom of this.
Well, at least you know the truth. Brian and I are getting hitched! Isn't that amazing?
I still can't believe that you're doing this. It's just horrible. How can you even live with yourself doing this to your own sister?
Oh, please. Can't you just accept that this is over and done with? Anyways, hurry up and send off those divorce papers so we can get married. Thank you, sis. Hey there, Trish. How've you been? Can you believe it's been 5 whole years since we've last talked? What have you been up to lately? Are you still fat, ugly, and single?
Wait, is that really you, May? Wow, I was wondering when you were finally going to reach out to me again. But I should have known that you've barely even changed even after all this time.
Excuse me? And just what is that supposed to mean, huh?
You know exactly what it means. Now why are you messaging me? What do you want?
Whatever, I can let mean comments from a loser like you slide. Actually, I have some big news that I need to share with you. So, I guess we can just say that I'm being nice enough to ignore the snide remark that you made.
I don't really care what you do about that comment at this point. Just tell me what you're messaging me about.
So you really just want me to get straight to the point? No small talk or catching up after all this time?
May, do you have something you want to talk to me about or not? Because if not, then I don't see the point in carrying on like this.
You really are no fun, you know that? Fine. If you must know, next week I'm going to be coming home with my daughter!
Oh, wait, you're going to be coming with your daughter? I didn't even know that you had any children.
Well, I do. And that means that I gave our parents their very first grandchild. So, what do you think of that?
Well, how old is this daughter of yours?
She's 2 years old, if you must know.
2 years old? Is that really right?
Of course it is. You think I don't know how old my daughter is? Anyways, the reason that I'm coming home is because Brian and I got a divorce and I don't have anywhere else to go now. So, I'm coming back home.
Oh no, you mean that you two got a divorce? I thought that you were soulmates.
Can you believe it? I thought that we were soulmates too. That damn Brian quit his big fancy job and then took something that paid way less. He said some dumb thing about wanting to follow his dreams, and I know that that wasn't going to work out between us.
Hold on a second. So you're telling me that you went to the trouble of stealing your own sister's husband and then ended it all over a career change?
Sure, he might not have just become unemployed, but he took a job that paid so much less than what he used to get. I had no choice but to leave him, don't you see?
And now you want to come crawling back home because you have nowhere else to go?
I mean, that's a pretty nasty way of putting it, but the meaning is basically there.
And you really think that you can just disappear from all of our lives for 5 years and then just show up like nothing happened?
I think that when Mom and Dad see their favorite daughter come home with their first grandchild, that they might give me a break.
Well, we'll just see about that, won't we?
I suppose we will. Or rather, we would, but I have other plans. Namely, you're taking up too much space at Mom and Dad's house, and all you're going to do is get in the way of me. So, I need you out.
Sorry, you're trying to kick me out of the house. Do I understand that right?
Of course. What use even is there of keeping around some divorced old hag like you, huh? Nobody needs or wants you. Why do you think Brian left you when he realized that your sister was far superior to you, huh? I don't even know what he saw in you to begin with.
You know, I really don't think that you know what you're talking about right now at all.
And just what is that supposed to mean? Do you know something that I don't?
You could say that. For example, you aren't the one giving Mom and Dad their first grandchild.
What are you talking about? How is my daughter not their first grandchild?
Well, that would be because they already have a 4-year-old grandson, I'm afraid. In fact, they have 4 other grandchildren in addition to him.
Wait a second. You're telling me that you have 5 children? But that can't be right. I mean, you're such a fat, ugly cow. Who in the world would want to have kids with you?
Sorry, I guess I should have made that clear. It isn't that all 5 of the kids are my children.
What are you talking about them? Did you take in some strays off the street or something? Is this supposed to be some kind of plan to get Mom and Dad to like you more than they like me?
No, it's nothing like that, but as you know, we have a 3rd sister, right? Well, a few years ago, she married someone she was going to college with, and they started spitting out kids like nothing.
Hold on a second. You're telling me that Paula got married? Well, how many of the kids are hers then?
That's right. She got married, and her husband have 3 kids between the 2 of them now. Of course, she's the youngest of us, and we were all worried since she got pregnant her first year of college. But she stayed with her boyfriend, who's been really very supportive and responsible. As for me, I have a 2-year-old daughter and an 8-month-old son, so altogether our parents already have 5 grandchildren.
But, I mean, she's the youngest, but she gave our parents their first grandchildren. You have to be lying to me. I refuse to believe that you're telling me the truth. And how do you have 2 kids already? You're supposed to be alone forever.
You are right that some men in this world would hold having gotten divorced against a woman, but there are plenty of understanding men out there as well. Besides, it isn't like I've just been some shut-in ever since the last time we talked. For example, I still have my same job that I did when you fled.
But I don't get it. This wasn't how things were supposed to go.
Anyways, I feel like we've gotten a little bit off topic. But what were you saying about wanting to move back in with your daughter?
That's right. Even though I might not be bringing home Mom and Dad's first grandchild, I'm still their favorite daughter, and I know they'll love to have me come home. So, before I get there, I need you to move out of the house and make room for me. I don't care if you're there with your husband and kids. I want you all out.
But I don't even live with Mom and Dad anymore.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
Yeah, a few months ago we were moving out of there, and now we're all gone from the house.
But that means that if you're gone, then I should just be able to move in without any issues, right?
I just really don't know if there would still even be a room left for you there, though.
What do you mean? If you and your family have all moved out, then there's got to be plenty of space for me there.
Do you even know where Mom and Dad's house is?
Of course I do! You really think that I don't have their address? Did you really think I was going to let something like that stop me from what I was doing? Thanks for telling me that you're gone. You've made this whole thing so much easier for me. Finally, tomorrow I can go home. Trish, are you there? what's going on? I don't understand. Where's the house? Why isn't the house where it's supposed to be? It's just a flat, empty lot now?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Mom and Dad were doing their best to stay there and keep the house. But in the end, they decided that it would just be easier to sell the whole thing and downsize.
So you're telling me that Mom and Dad sold their house and moved away?
That's right. Although I don't really know about how much they sold it for or who they sold it to, but I guess whoever owns the property now had some reason to get rid of the house. But then again, it was getting quite old, and I don't even know how safe it was to be inside.
But what about Mom and Dad? Where are they living now? What did they do after they moved?
Well, I told you about how a few months ago my husband and I were getting ready to move out, right?
That's right. You told me that you were all getting ready to move out of their house, but where did Mom and Dad go after that?
I guess I should have been more clear. It wasn't just my family that was doing that. Mom and Dad moved out then as well. They applied for a waiting list at a retirement home and have been renting an apartment until an opening comes along.
You mean that Mom and Dad are going to try and move into a retirement home?
I mean, they aren't exactly spring chickens anymore, you know? So they're in a pretty small space for the time being so that they can save up their money for when they move into the home. That's why I said that I really don't think that there would even be a room for you if you did move there.
But surely they must have some room for me. I mean, I'm their prettiest and favorite daughter, right?
I really think that you're the only one who thinks of yourself in that way. Because I'm pretty sure that our parents actually all love us equally.
No, that can't be true. How could you say something so awful?
I mean, if anything, you're now their least favorite after how you stole my husband from me. In fact, you should know that they told me if you ever show up in our lives again trying to ask for help, that they would have no problem turning you down right away.
But then, where am I supposed to go? Trish, are you there? I really need you right now. It's just terrible.
What is it this time, May? What could you possibly want from me now?
Are you really living in Brian's parents' house? What is going on? I want answers right now.
What are you talking about? I seriously have no idea what you're going on about.
I mean that after I learned about Mom and Dad's plans to move into a retirement home, I didn't have anywhere else to go. So then I tried going back to Brian's parents' place to try and patch things up with him. We were renting an apartment together before, but I know that he canceled the lease after we got divorced. So I thought that he might have gone back to live with his parents for the time being, but then when I got to his parents' house, I saw that your car was parked in their parking lot. Also, it wasn't even their house that was there anymore. Their house had been demolished and replaced with this really amazing-looking mansion?
Oh, that's what you're talking about. I guess that means that you were that sad-looking lady with her daughter that I saw staring from my window.
How dare you call me that? Just tell me what's going on right this instant. I want answers.
Right. I guess maybe I should have explained this to you the last time we talked. But the man that I got married to after you ran away was actually Brian's cousin.
Wait, what? You married Brian's cousin? But hold on. Isn't Brian's cousin that genius entrepreneur who was on the cover of all those finance magazines?
Yeah, actually, now that you mention it, I think that he has had a couple of interviews and photo shoots and stuff like that.
But then that still doesn't explain how Brian's cousin ended up owning Brian's parents' house. How did that happen?
Well, that happened about 5 years ago, actually, not long after you and Brian ran off with each other. Brian's mom was so shocked by what her son had done that she actually had to be hospitalized.
Wait, really? Are you serious about that?
Yep, I'm very serious about it. But I guess that you two were so caught up with what you were doing that you never heard about that happening. But anyways, Brian's parents just wanted a new start and got out of that house as soon as possible. So their nephew offered to buy their land for a good price so that they could get out right away. It wasn't long after that we bumped into each other while running. Sparks flew, and the rest is history, pretty much. He demolished the house, and we built up a new one, and here we are.
But if his cousin bought the house from his parents, then what happened to Brian? I was sure that he would have gone back to live with his parents.
Actually, now that you say that, Brian stopped by here just a couple of days ago.
Hold on. Brian was here just a couple of days ago?
Yeah, that's right. He, like you, thought that his parents' house would still be here waiting for him. But the only person who was home then was his cousin, who explained to him what happened. Of course, he didn't give Brian his parents' new address. After Brian realized he wasn't going to get anywhere with his cousin, he just wandered off dejectedly.
Well, it would have been good to know all of this before I came all the way here.
I guess so. It's not really my problem either way. If you want to try and get back together with Brian, that is completely up to you. Either way, I want you to leave me out of it and stay away from my house. My husband and I don't want anything to do with you or whatever you're scheming.
But I don't have anywhere to go. You know that.
Well, don't think that you can come to me asking for help, because I have nothing to say to you at all. Got it?
You're my sister. You can't do this to me. Please, you have to help me. We're supposed to be there for each other at times like these, right?
Oh, please. When were you ever there for me? You literally disappeared from all of our lives for 5 years, and now you think you're entitled to our help? You have some nerve even thinking that that's an option for you. Just leave me alone.
Trish, please don't do this to me! You're all I have left.
You lost me a long time ago, May. Now just go away and leave me alone forever. After that, May ran up to my front door and started ringing the doorbell over and over again. She never stopped until I finally called the police on her and they told her to get off my property. After that, I never ever saw her again. Although according to some friends of friends who were still connected to my sister, she ended up moving in with some old friend, but she could never find Brian or anyone else to marry for that matter. I even heard that she ended up giving up her child for adoption since she could no longer take care of her. I never mentioned this to May, but Brian's parents actually ended up paying me off so that I wouldn't pursue their son for his infidelity. Not only that, but both May and Brian's parents ended up cutting them out of their wills. Although, I guess they have no way of knowing any of that now. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this. Case? It's been around 15 minutes now since you told me you'd be going to the bathroom. Are you all right? The bus will be here in another 5 minutes or so. If you're not feeling all too well right now, we can cancel this honeymoon and go another time.
I'm out of the bathroom right now. I'll be back to you in just a second.
Case? Hey, the moment I got onto the bus, you told me you had to go back to the bathroom again. Are you sure you're all right? The toilet on this bus is pretty small, so I'm sure it's not comfortable for you in there, right? Did you eat something bad yesterday, or that's got you feeling so poorly? Do you want to go and see a doctor about it?
I'm alright, okay? It's not all that bad, actually. I should be out of here and coming back to my seat here soon, so don't worry.
Are you sure? If it's getting really bad for you, we can go to a local clinic and have them see if you need any medication.
Alright. Sorry for getting you all worked up over me.
I'm sorry for constantly checking up on you.
What?
That toilet you were just in was the one on the left side of the bus, right?
What? Why do you ask?
The person in front of me is saying that there were some strange noises coming from that toilet when they walked back there. As though there was a guy and a girl in there.
What? What are they talking about? And that's not for me. I was going to go into that toilet, but it was locked, and so I went to the toilet on the right side of the bus instead. I know for a fact that I'm not in that toilet right now. So you don't have to be worried about those noises coming from me.
I see. Well, as long as everything's all right back there.
Wow, I can't believe that the toilet on the left side of the bus has noises like that coming from it right now. I'm surprised I can't hear anything right now. I'm coming back to my seat right now, by the way.
All right. Aunt May, do you have a second to talk with me? What? Is that you, Sarah? What's going on? We are supposed to be meeting in the hotel's lobby tonight, right? Is it really all right for you to be texting me now when we can meet later today? You are on your honeymoon right now, so I think it's best you enjoy this time with your husband. Well, about my husband. He isn't feeling all too well right now. What? Oh, no way. He's told me that he has some medicine he can take to help ease some of his stomach pain and that he'll just sleep for the rest of the day in the hotel room. But all of that is a lie. What do you mean? He was already telling me about how it would be better to just send him home and enjoy this trip by myself, considering it's a waste of money being at this hotel with him being in such a bad state. But then why did he come all the way out here in the first place when he was feeling bad before we left? And why is he sending me out of the hotel room when I can just relax in there with him while he sleeps? Well, I know why. Just 10 minutes ago, I saw him walking my little sister into the room. And as I walked up to listen through the door, I could hear the both of them moaning. What? You're talking about June then, right? I always heard stories about how much she's loved to sleep around, but I never thought she'd get to your own husband like that. And during your honeymoon of all times. That's what I'm saying. The only reason I was able to see him walking my sister in there in the first place is because I forgot my sun hat, and so I came back to grab it. Perhaps that could be considered a stroke of luck, having my timing match theirs. Or maybe it's bad luck. I opened the door just a little to make sure the person I really saw was June, and they were too busy getting it on in the bed to notice me peering through the crack in the door. This is too crazy. Now that I'm thinking about it more, I think that June snuck onto that bus with Case and I as well. The whole way out here, things were so strange, and I was starting to really think Case was up to something. I don't even want to know what was going on in the bus. Are you going to be all right, Sarah? Well, let's just see what I can do about this. I have some time on my hands right now, so how about we meet up early and talk about what to do next? Are you all right with that? You wouldn't want to be all alone after witnessing something as insane as that, right? I'm sure there are plenty of things I can help with as well. So please, let me come see you and we can talk all this through in more detail and make a plan. Thank you, Aunt May. Where are you right now? I'm just walking back and forth outside the hotel, trying to keep my mind off what I just saw. Then I'm going to start heading back there right now. Can you meet me over by the tennis courts on the east side of the resort? It'll take me around 30 minutes to get back there, so you can take your time walking to that area. Is that all right? Yeah. While you're on your way back, I'll get some things taken care of that need to be dealt with. What things are you talking about? I just want to talk with some other people that need to know what I've seen is all. Ah, I see. I'll see you in a little over 30 minutes then. See you soon. Case, how's your stomach feeling right now?
Right. It is still causing me a little trouble, and churning quite a bit, but I think I'm past the point where it was going to hurt the most. I'm sure the medicine is helping break things up in there a lot, as I haven't had to go to the bathroom as much anymore.
I see.
What have you been up to? Around this time, we were supposed to be going to the gardens or something like that, right?
I'm out with Aunt May and doing a couple of things.
Ah, she came along on this trip as well, right? I forgot that they had been wanting to come to a place like this as well, and made the choice to come during our honeymoon. Well, I'm glad you have had someone to spend the day with.
That's right.
By the way, we were supposed to be meeting with her tonight in the hotel lobby, right? Why don't the two of you just go out to eat dinner without coming back here for me?
What are you going to do then, Case?
I'll order something small with room service. I'm honestly not too hungry right now. So maybe just a small bowl of ice cream, and then I'm going back to sleep. I feel as though another good round of sleep will fix the stomach ache up for me. So if you just go out and have dinner with Aunt May, then that would give me the rest of the evening to relax.
I see. Then once I've had dinner with Aunt May, I'm heading all the way back home by myself.
What?
Well, if you're going to keep it up with that behavior, there's no real need to call all of this our honeymoon, right? I don't really want to be going around by myself seeing all the sights when it was supposed to be about you and I. So I'll head back to the house and relax by myself there.
Wait, I'm sure that by tomorrow I'll be feeling a whole lot better again.
Nope, I'm going home. There's no point in calling this a honeymoon trip anymore, now is there?
Huh? What are you trying to get at there, Sarah?
I'm going to go back out with Aunt May, have some dinner with her, and then head home.
Hey, listen to me. You're just going to head home by yourself and abandon your new husband out here when he's feeling sick? That's pretty messed up of you to just leave your sick husband here in a place he knows nothing about. To go home by yourself.
I'm sure it's not me who's the messed up one here.
What the heck is all of this about? You're a freaking jerk for canceling this honeymoon without asking me first, and then leaving me here when I have a stomachache. Hey!
Oh, it's you again, Case?
Don't tell me that you're actually heading home soon.
Well, I am. There were some seats left on the last bus leaving here today, so that's what I'll be riding on.
Huh?
I'm on my way to the bus terminal right now, with Aunt May, of course.
Huh?
You go ahead and do whatever you please there at the resort.
What are you talking about? This is supposed to be yours and my honeymoon. Why would you leave right in the middle of it when I'm just getting back to my normal self and want to have fun with you? Why are you just leaving me here without a care in the world?
Do I really have to give you the reason for why this is?
You want to go home because I became a little sick for a day or two, and it was no fun for you, right? I'm sorry that I ended up getting this sick, but you were the one that left me in this room all day long by myself with no company at all. You're screwed up, Sarah.
Ugh. So that's the reason you think I'm leaving you to go back to the house?
What other reason would there frickin' be right now?
How about the reason of you and my little sister getting it on in the hotel room today?
What?
Back when we were on our way out here on the bus, there were some things going on that made me a little concerned.
Sarah?
Back when the guy sitting in front of me on the bus said something about strange noises coming out of the toilet on the left side of the bus. That was you and June, right? And don't tell me the same thing was going on with you two in the bathroom before you and I got on the bus.
Why would you bring something like that up? Did June say anything to you yesterday or today?
Listen, Case, I know what's happened, so give it up trying to convince me otherwise.
What?
This morning, after you told me to leave the room and go do some things by myself, I forgot my hat and went back up to the room to go and get it.
What?
You both didn't seem to notice anything at the time because you were too busy humping each other. But that's when I saw with my own eyes that you were doing my little sister. I was looking through a crack in the door I made by opening it ever so slightly. She was riding on top of you for a bit before you both rolled over and kept going at it under the covers.
You're lying.
Oh, I sat there listening and watching for close to 10 minutes because I couldn't believe my eyes and had to keep checking again to make sure what I was looking at was actually real. I'm sure that June is staying at the same resort right now. If she wasn't, then there would have been no way of her getting into the resort and up to our room that quickly, right?
No, wait,
In other words, since the beginning, you and her have been planning on going to the same resort at the same time during our honeymoon so that you both could play around. Right?
Well,
I'm going to find out all the finer details in this from here on. And it would help me out a lot if you would just confess to what you've done here. And to make that happen, there will be a lot of people showing up to your room really soon.
a lot of people showing up to this room? Here?
I don't want to see you in person for a little while now, so I'll leave it up to all of them to get the information I need.
What are you going on about? What? Hey, Sarah, why are both my parents and your parents here right now? Why were they all allowed to come into this resort? We are way too far away from home for all of them to have made it out here this quickly.
Wait, did you totally forget or something? To join in on some of the fun we were going to have, our parents all got together and planned a trip out for themselves to come to this area as well.
What?
They wanted to have some good family bonding time as well, since you and I just married, so they booked rooms at a resort just down the road. But when they heard the news from me about what I'd seen, they all got into their rental van and started to make their way over to the resort you're at.
What? Huh?
They were also able to make a last-minute change to stay at that resort tonight. Since both the resorts on the street are owned by the same company and are able to do things like that for their guests.
What?
It also helps that Aunt May has a friend working for that resort. She had a word with that friend of hers and told them everything they needed to know. So that friend went ahead and made sure to give our parents the large, sweet room in order for you all to sit down and have a nice, long meeting.
Wait.
So now that you're aware of that, tonight will be a blast for you. Both you and June will be able to have a seat in that room with all four of them and take it up your butts.
Are you freaking kidding me, Sarah? Sarah, I made sure to get that settlement into your bank account. The divorce paperwork has all been handed into the courthouse as well.
Is that right? Thank you so much for letting me know.
Well, now that I've thought about it, this divorce is perfect for me.
Why is that?
Well, now I'll be able to marry your little sister instead. Tomorrow, I'm going to go and propose to her, and then from there, her and I can run over to the courthouse again and get married.
So you're going right back for more then?
I may have lost my parents because of what happened, but as long as I have a young and cute-looking wife like June in my life, I'll be just fine. I'll be perfect, actually.
That might not be happening though, Case.
Why do you say that?
Because June is already married.
Huh?
From what I've heard, she already gave birth to the son of a truly top-notch CEO who's making over $1.5 million a year. So, after giving birth to his son, they both tied the knot and are now considered husband and wife.
What did you just say? She got married to another man? Even though I went and paid for both the settlement you asked for me and the settlement you asked from her? She just left me now?
Did you really think you were the only man she was getting love from? I'm not sure what made you think that about her, but for the longest time now, she's been a real whore.
What?
Ever since high school, I think, she's been sleeping around with pretty much any man she could land. There were times she'd call them her boyfriends or something, but that would mean at some points she had 3 boyfriends at a time.
What the actual heck?
I'm sure that since she just got married, she's gone and ended all those other relationships she was having.
I never heard anything about this stuff, though.
I think she was waiting until after you paid both of your settlements to me before she would say anything.
That frickin' whore.
Well, along with myself, my parents have also gone and cut ties to my little sister. So now you both mean nothing to us. Good luck trying to figure out the situation you've gotten yourself into now, Case. Goodbye. After that, Case went and found the company of June's husband and ran in there making a huge scene. This led to June's husband finding out about all the men June had been with before, and so he had a DNA test done on his baby that she recently had. It turned out that the baby was Case's. This led to June then being divorced by her husband and him getting a settlement from her, and Case was also given a bill for all the things in that man's office building that he went and broke in his rage. However, even after all of that, Case still wanted to be with June, and so those two handed in their marriage form. As of right now, those two are working hard to make up all the money they need to pay off all their debt. But while that's happening, June is still finding ways to go back out with other men. Case is very much aware of what she's doing, but for some reason he doesn't want a divorce and just ignores all of it. Even more recently, things between those two have become so divided that they sleep on opposite sides of the house from one another. Because of this, it seems like the place is a very bad environment for their baby, and so my parents and I have talked about taking it away from them. Time will only tell what happens next, but I just hope nothing happens to harm that whore's baby.